This is a video about stone soup. Oh, hey. Sorry, I'm on the side of the road here. I'm by just by the swimming hole. I haven't seen a bikini girl in 13 years. It's the hottest day of the year so far, and I'm just waiting. But anyhow, stone soup. My friend Kaylee. It's a convoluted friendship, but you know we're friends, and she did a video on a site that was found Neanderthals boiling, rendering fat from bones. A site that was found that confirms that's what was going on there. And I thought, there's a very high possibility because I was talking to her. I says, I can't remember what it was. I watched it about a week ago. Anyways, Native Americans used to boil soup indirectly in birch bark containers by heating up stones and putting those stones into the birch bark containers. And then of course the stone would lose its heat and you'd revolve stones from the fire to the water until it was boiling. And I started thinking about it, the story of stone soup. Stories do kind of, when they're verbally passed on for a long time, they tend to morph a little bit. But, when I started thinking about stone soup. Okay, so these travelers, they got a fire going. They must have got a fire going. They must have heated up a stone. And they must have got some water and put the stone into the water and got it ready for some soup, got it boiling. I thought, well, what one stone? But then too, the stories mutate. But the Neanderthals doing that may show that Neanderthals can be attributed to our discovery of metals, which is pretty intense. That's why I'm showing my bike. Okay, our metals. If you think about metals, okay, before we had metal pots, okay, or anything we could heat water in directly. There's a car coming by. Before then, okay, stone soup is a European story, okay? So obviously we did that too pre-Bronze Age because the Native Americans host the Native American Bronze Age pre-colonial America when they started mining their own copper and stuff, and they started making thin bowls to heat water in, and you can't hardly find them because they don't hold up in the soil, but some stuff has been found. But anyways, okay, so pre-Bronze Age Europe, okay, how are we boiling water? How are we heating up water? We do it the same way. I mean, just the story stone soup itself indicates that it's almost a no-brainer that we did it that way. But the thing is people would learn which stones held the most heat. Okay, and they would learn those stones and they would understand those stones, and there would be soup stones. Like, that's a good soup stone. This is a good soup stone. It's good for heating water. And those would have been ores, metal ores of some sort, like coppers, bronze, iron ore. Okay, iron ore can hold a lot of heat, but it takes a lot more heat to melt iron ore than it does copper. So and bronze. So we have the Bronze Age because somebody took, a soup stone that was a bronze ore and put it in the fire and said, let's get this thing really freaking hot. Yeah, so that it'll boil this whole pot of freaking, bones, And the next thing you know, we can't pick up the rock because it just turned into something else. Okay, it melted out and became a little bronze flow on the ground, and they couldn't pick it up with the sticks, until it cooled down. And then the fascination would have ensued, and they would have pounded on it and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, we have metals. And I said to Keely, I thought it's freaking just amazing to me that the metals that we use to boil water in nowadays came about through the need to boil water.